Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Primal Chaos here, and I'm back again with another review of some hopefully aggressive music. As you all know, this is kind of a new genre to me. I'm a big music fan. Lately, I've been getting into music with more aggressive vocals or themes. I've always been a fan of metal, rock, punk, all that sort of stuff, but I always avoided the categories with more harsh vocals, so more extreme vocals. And so I'm changing that now. And listen, this one's been reviewed to me a few times. There was a Philip, hang on, I've got it here. Philip Lee on YouTube. And I think a few other people have also mentioned it. I've also noticed a couple of other reaction channels have done this. So I've avoided listening to those because I saw somebody had recommended it to me and I didn't want to spoil it. But yeah, there must be something to this. So otherwise everybody, it wouldn't be a bit of a darling going around YouTube right now. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. I have no idea what this is going to be. Okay. Oh, already good. Okay. Okay, so first thing I'm noticing is a fan fret guitar, which means there's probably some guitar work in this one. It sounds a bit djenty. That's an interesting choice. So also, am I seeing a female singer? I think I am. Let's jump back. I'm noticing a theme here. There's a lot of times, people are augmenting pretty standard sort of punchy sort of riffs with these noises, high frequency noises that are unsettling. It sounds like a siren or a scream or something that sort of sets off your alarm bells, and you can hear it here. Have a listen. Comes in about now. Wow, that's disorienting. Okay, first of all, sounds like she's got a really nice voice. I don't know where this is going. I'm assuming there's more to it. But interestingly enough, there is a really subtle, I'm almost positive of it, almost subtle doubling of her voice by a male voice that's mixed way back. Probably just to thicken out this part. But that's not what's blowing my mind right now. It's this rhythmic thing. I don't know if it was just in the right ear, but it's this weird tempo thing. It's a polyrhythm, but the drummer's not playing it. I don't know what that is. And is it only the right side? Is he playing the hats? I can't see. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, sorry. It's just the rhythm that they showed the snippet of the drum for. It seemed like he was just doing those tom hits. But yeah, he's doing the hi-hat. But it's an interesting little polyrhythm. Gives it this off-kilter sort of tug, and I'm all about that. So it wasn't hats. Yeah, no, his hats are on the left. He was, unless he was doing a ride cymbal. I don't know. So there's something confusing going on with the drum rhythms, but so a drummer out there will let me know what's going on. I'm confused because when he turned back around and started addressing his hi-hat, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, it'll be over there. So that sort of thing would typically, unless he's doing it on another cymbal, I don't know. As you can tell, I'm not a drummer. There's also another element under there of like maybe a low Yeah, there's a low synth under there too. There's, unless the bass has got a synthesizer pedal or something on, it doesn't sound like strings. It sounds like keys. It's like sort of. Listen. Yeah, I think he's got some modulation effect on his bass. Oh. There's that reverse effect that they use. It just has this great way of bridging two parts rather than having silence. Like you could have just cut off and then kicked back in and that'd be really effective. But just having like reverb tails come off and then a reverse sample of, I don't know whether it's just a clip of the rest of the audio put in reverse or if it's just reverbs. But you can hear it bridging that gap. It sort of falls away and then comes back up. It just gives a sense of urgency to the next part. Cool synths right out here. There it is. Now listen, I don't know why everybody gets so surprised about this. It's mostly because it's unusual, right? You don't hear a lot of female singers singing in a fry voice. There's obviously Ginger, Arch Enemy, bands like that. And again, I only know them through watching other review videos. Although actually, having said that, I've known about Arch Enemy for many years, just because it's such an oddball thing, and everybody check out this chick screaming, right? You see it, but she can clearly sing, like in the traditional sense, and to be able to add a fry effect to her singing voice, which is what she's doing. It's not like she's doing something that, okay, as a singer, you typically should be capable of, producing a lot of different sounds with your voice. And as somebody who can sing and has all of the elements in place structurally, as far as like, your breathing, the way you hold yourself while you sing, the way you position your vocal tract when you sing, the support you get from your diaphragm, all that sort of stuff, is the same techniques. Although most people don't use them because most screamers and growlers and stuff probably don't have access to the information that, say, an opera singer or, classically trained singer or even a singer who's had any kind of singing lessons, they might not have the same access to that. I think a lot of those people just start out trying to emulate the sounds that they hear, not go through training. Most of them go through training later when they have problems. So she can clearly sing. If she's interested in doing heavy music, she's already got all of the tools that she needs to be able to take a well-supported voice and add some fry to it and get that effect. So, am I impressed? Yes, it sounds amazing. It's a really cool band. Up until this point, it was kind of reminding me, it was taking me back to 2005, 2006, listening to Lacuna Coil. It's got that same sort of element. It's a little bit more genty, a little bit less new metal. Not that they were super new metal, but you get the idea. And, rather than having a guy in the band who would do this stuff, she can do both roles. And I mean, her voice sounds great. I don't want any of this to sound like judgment, right? It's just, I know that this has been bouncing around YouTube as some sort of a thing where people are reacting to it like it's a big deal. I'm actually more interested in why there aren't more female singers who do fry screams. Maybe, yeah, that's probably what it is for me. Let's go back, because I really want to appreciate this transition. I feel like I was overthinking it in the moment, so I want to hear it again because there's some cool stuff going on, particularly some tapping with the guitar and things like that. Just before we go too much further, the other thing that I want to point out too, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a vocal coach. There's a million other people you should be referring to if you're trying to learn how to do things like this with your voice, because you can really quickly, you can make problems for yourself. And unlearning bad technique is a million times harder than learning good technique from the beginning. That goes with any instrumentation, guitar, drums, bass, whatever, vocals. One thing that most people, when they see a performer like this performing, just watch her physical attitude change when she starts screaming. She's probably not the best example of what I'm getting at, because she's a subdued performer. She's still sort of wandering around. In fact, she might even be a good example of what I'm getting at. What a lot of people don't realize is when they see somebody like the other day, I reviewed Lorna Shore, and the singer Will he's very aggressive in his motions, and he's very rah, he's really getting into it, and it gives the impression that you have to put a lot of energy into your voice to get that out, and that's one of the first mistakes. And you'll notice, actually, funnily enough, like I'm saying, she's actually probably a good example how casual she looks. She changes her attitude. She seems like she's putting more energy and rage into it because of her facial expressions. But I guarantee you, she's using all of the same techniques that she was when she was singing. And, if you hear the rest of the song, there's not a lot of like energy in the singing anyway. It's going, na, 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 na. And she's taking that sort of same energy and applying some fry to it and getting rah. Bad example, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's, if you saw her in the studio, she'd be standing there comfortable as she would be singing the rest of the verses and stuff like that, just producing that rah sort of sound. You can see I'm not rah to get that sound. It's just rah, same as it would be if I went, it's the same energy, right? So if you're trying to learn how to emulate these singers, the best example I can give is go and watch, is it Will Ramos from the singer from, the industry darling that's bouncing around right now that I reviewed and loved. You should go check it out. To the Hellfire, is it called? Whatever it is, the new song by Lorna Shore. There's a vocal take of him performing it, and again, everyone's reviewed this as well, from beginning to end, just with a microphone. And the second he starts singing, you can see exactly how it's done, and that is, he's not rah over the mic like this. He's just like this. It's super relaxed, super calm. Again, I am not a singing teacher. I don't know anything about singing. I can produce some really, really bad examples of these vocalizations. And so you shouldn't take my advice, but what I'm getting at is often what you're seeing in a music video and what you're seeing on screen and seeing in live performances isn't the best way to perform, and it's not the way that these singers perform them in the studio. Not all of them. I mean, there's crazy people out there, obviously. But yeah, sorry, moving on. Let's jump back a bit. I feel like I'm derailing this review. Great riff. Oh! Nice reverbs and delays. You gotta love a nice harmony, man. There's some really nice production going on here with her voice, and the way that they're playing with delays and like essentially echoes and reverbs. Not on everything, and it's kind of cool because the instrumentation is actually really dry. The drums are very dry, from at least sitting in the mix. I'm sure there's reverbs and stuff on them, but as far as the mix is concerned, by comparison, they're relatively dry. But if you listen really closely, particularly got headphones on, listen to the way that they're playing with reverbs on certain lines. like harmonized backing vocals, sort of moving up scales and things like that. It's like beautifully orchestrated. Man. Very cool. Very edgy, very punk outro. I just like that it just puts a pin in the end, you know what I mean? I like that. I was just looking through the lyrics. It's really nice poetry. It's just a lot of par for the course kind of thing with this genre. But read through the lyrics because they're kind of really nice. A lot of the lyrics I've heard, because the lyrics don't matter as much in a lot of screamed songs. Some of them have really deep meanings, but a lot of times it's just the phrasing that people use is more to fit with the rhythmic sort of element rather than writing, you know, nice flowing poetry like lines and stuff like that. I'm not sure what the song's about glancing at it. There's a lot of, you know, a lot of darker elements to it, but maybe check it out in your own time, see how you feel, what you take from it. Because I'm not seeing a lot of stuff there other than just sort of like general witticisms about like, you know, I learned the rules of a sadist. I laid myself down in the shape of a body. I really like that. One of my favorite lines historically of all time is from a Björk song, which is, I'm a fountain of blood in the shape of a girl. I'm a bird on the brink, hypnotized by the world. To me, they're the kind of lyrics that turn me on. And there's some elements of that in here. So read through it. It's definitely worth a look. This is the part where I jump in and talk about Enchroma. If you're colorblind, 1 in 6 of you guys are, and 1 in 200 women of you guys are colorblind as well. So check out the link in the description. Go get your eyes tested at the Enchroma website. If you do decide to buy some of their corrective glasses, which I thoroughly recommend, use the code CHAOS in the checkout and you'll get 10% off. Okay, so let's check out the overall summary. I know I broke that up. I did a lot of lecturing on that one. But, you know, overall, just a great song. And again, it sort of reminded me a lot of, like, you know, 2005 era female-fronted, doomy kind of rock, I guess. It wasn't new metal. It didn't have that sort of bro-y kind of element to it. But, you know, bands like Lacuna Coil. I'm trying to think of who else. There was a bunch back then. But yeah, this one reminds me most of that because of the way the vocals sit in the mix, the rhythmic sort of elements to it as well. But, you know, there was nothing in here like musically that sort of sat outside the box of just really well produced, good old fashioned sort of, you know, metal rock sort of stuff. And that again in itself is a great thing. That's tasteful and it sort of serves the song more than serves the egos of the guys playing. So that's definitely a compliment. I don't mean that to sound sort of diminishing at all. I really like her voice. I think she's got a great thing going. I'd love to hear some more of this sort of stuff and see how it relates across albums, for example, if there's any sort of other tricks she's got up her sleeve and things like that. You know, typical 4-piece band, great sounding drums, great sounding bass. I want to hear more to see if, you know, the guitar is sort of set up rig-wise to really explore some more interesting territory. And I wonder if this is a song that doesn't really demonstrate his ability, you know? And again, competent playing sounds great, but I just feel like he's probably capable of more than this song probably lets on. Anyway, outside of that, this has been a first time reaction. I like it. I'll add it to my playlist. Again, the comments are what keeps this channel going. Give me some suggestions about what you want to hear next, what you'd love to see me review. Your favorite songs in the genre of, like, you know, metalcore, deathcore. Doesn't matter, any of the cores, I'm down. Anything with extreme vocals, I really want to check out. Because there's so many hidden gems in the genre that I feel like I've missed by sort of being a bit sort of prejudiced against that type of extreme vocal. So Yeah, but keep them coming, man. This is great. I've been having so much fun. Everybody I talk to at work and stuff is just sick of hearing me talk about these new bands, and because most of them obviously are into this sort of music, and they're like, dude, where have you been? We've all been into this since like 2008. So what I've been doing is sort of sticking to more of the bigger name bands, but I think over the next few reviews, I'm going to jump back to possibly doing a few more ones that seem a bit more obscure to me. They might be huge bands, but they're not of the ilk of sort of Parkway or August Burns Red. And then of course there's some classic ones that I was reminded of by one of my friends who's into it's been into sort of deathcore and metalcore sort of since the beginning, and so there's a lot more bands that have gone by the wayside that are really worth listening to. Also, my friend Dan has recommended me so many songs, and her partner as well, because they've been in the scene for since they were kids. So yeah, I've got to get to all of those, but keep bringing the suggestions in. I'm keen to try anything at this point. So thanks again. Thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for sticking around this long, and yeah, let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell.